What's going on YouTube? This is Double Orange 927 back again for another video. And here today guys, I am continuing my discussion upon my thoughts on Battlefront 2. Sorry it's late at night, but here today guys, I am discussing probably the most controversial thing in the game, which is arguably the new crossplay system. Then now, in case you people don't know what this system is, crossplay basically, as far as we know in the content of what we have, allows one to pick a hero from any era to employ during a battle. Now, this has the ideal that you could have, for example, Rey slicing down battle droids, or say Yoda fighting stormtroopers, that kind of stuff. Or probably a more accurate example would be maybe, Kylo Ren fighting against Yoda or something. Stuff like that. Now, many people have their own personal opinions, and here I'm going to get mine. And here's what I need to explain to people. I'm not against the crossplay system in and of itself, not as an idea. The crossplay is a useful tool. It's pretty cool in the ideal in some ways, where you could, kind of choose to play anything you want, anywhere you want. Like that is very appealing for some people. But at the same time, there's some things bad about it, at least in the 40-player game modes. Like in hero-focused game modes, like Heroes vs. Villains, or Hero Deathmatch, or even some smaller, funner, like even some goofy modes, they're perfect for that. But when I see them in, for example, just the E3 thing we saw right now, the assault on Theed, I can't help but be a little skeptical about it. Because on one hand, yes, it's cool. It's like yes, I finally get to live out all my what if scenarios and all this cool stuff. On the other, it's like, what is very weird about it is there's nothing really immersive about it. In fact, in my view, it's very immersive breaking. It's like, yes, I get the whole thing where gameplay comes first, but it's like, gameplay comes first by grand design when you think of what the game's actually about. The game's about immersion. It's not really about too much else. And my key ideal is that, while yes, it's cool to have Rey and all that running around, at the same time, it's like, I think of a lot of the negative impacts it could leave because it's just out of place. And as well as that, many people just say authenticity is the only reason why people don't like it, blah blah blah. And yes, for most people that's the case. And yes, I don't like it that much because of authenticity, but there's other problems I see it adding up to. Now, people bring up the argument, oh, what if I want to specialize on one hero and, I can only play as him so often? Yes, for a lot of people that's a bad thing, but I think people don't really get this. The limitations of which hero you can play as is somewhat something that holds in the game's benefit. Now, let me explain two reasons for this. The first reason is the fact that if we allow it where people choose heroes anytime they want, they're only going to choose the hero that they upgrade on. Now, this is somewhat sound logic. People are going to be like, well, that only makes sense, right? Like, why not just choose the one hero I want to play as and upgrade it? But people fail to understand that this creates a huge set of problems. The first one being, by allowing this system in, you're practically, in a way, designing the game in an unbalanced sense. In my view, what allowed even upgrade stuff in certain games to be balanced is limitation. It's what prevents things from getting too powerful. Think of, by comparison, Halo 5 Warzone. I know it's weird to compare it to that because it's like, really? It's like that? But Halo 5 Warzone, the reason why they could design a Mantis or a Scorpion or whatever to be overpowered or, just cool and all that, and the upgrades work and all that, is because it wasn't often seen. Now, imagine this, where it's like, across all three eras, you have these different choice of heroes available, like prequel Obi-Wan, Rey, like Obi-Wan original trilogy Luke, and sequel trilogy Rey, or whatever. It's like, by having three different heroes across the eras, it allows a greater appreciation of all the heroes in the game. And as well as that, it equalizes more of the playing field, because you're going to be gradually upgrading every hero in a sense. Like, yes, you'll obviously choose your favorite hero per era, one that suits your playstyle. Like, yes, if you're exclusively a lightsaber type hero, that's fine. But choose the one associated with the era. Obi-Wan for the prequels, you get the point. And more importantly, what's even more justified through this is that by giving the players the tools upon, making things more of an even playing field, no one hero is going to get too overpowered that early. Another point I make against the cross era on the 40-player game modes is also that, yes, some people think it's restricting variation. Like, why would you purposely only allow me to play as 2 heroes when I could play as 7? Or whatever. In a way, that's not the case. Now, you have to look at it from this point of view. Imagine EA, an executive board, as a company, obviously their main goal in any situation is going to be to make the most money by spending the least money. Now, think of it this way. If 7 heroes are implemented in the game from all 3 eras and they're always available, they're not going to feel as pushed to give us more heroes. So thanks to it, it's going to be more of a lack of variation. While if we only had a couple heroes per era, they're going to feel more encouraged to give us more, because, we're going to get burned out and say, well, give us more. And it's kind of, I know it sounds confusing, but it's kind of a psychology thing where it's like, the companies will use any excuse not to give to give more content. And in many ways, that would be an excuse. Why would we need to give you so many more heroes when you already have this many available across the 3 eras? And really, the final reason for it, and in my view, against it in 40-player modes, is just people want each era to have their own identity. It's not just about the immersion or the authenticity, and granted, that's very important for many people, including myself, but it's also that they want each era to be unique in their own way, have their own identity. People don't want to see original trilogy type stuff and a prequel stuff the same way how we wouldn't want to see freaking Darth Maul running around with First Order stormtroopers. It's out of place, and worst off, by having it in there, it basically makes everything kind of cluttered up. It's like, you can never just have, I love the prequel era and I can just play my prequel era stuff. It's like, no, now I have to have this original and sequel trilogy stuff shoved down my throat. And with that, basically comes a lot of problems. And with that, it basically creates a new sense of problems, I guess. It's like, as a whole, while the hero system, and look, I'm not against it completely. I think it's perfect for hero-oriented modes, because those are the type of modes where those fantasies are meant to be lived. Like the whole, the what-if battles, and the, oh my gosh, I get to have, Kylo Ren versus, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that kind of stuff. That's where that stuff is meant to be a hero. And, that's where the stuff is going to be at its finest. But just simply having, this stuff in the 40-player game modes, I can see where some people see as a positive, and I understand where some people find it beneficial. I just disagree with it, and as a whole, I think at the very least they need to balance it in some way, because, no offense to people like Battlefront updates, but when you say, I just want to have it all over the place, so, I get to choose whatever, blah, 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 you're kind of screwing the opposite end over, and look, like, I don't even mind certain 40-player game modes having it, they're wacky, like one mode I always thought of that would be cool is like a large-scale hero hunt, where you get, like, a full set of heroes, and the team has to, like, escort the heroes to a certain extraction point or something, while the villains get to, like, spawn all the time. Like, it's a full team of heroes versus, like, so imagine this, like, how to sum this, like, imagine out of 20 players, there's 5 that become heroes of any era, it doesn't matter, and then their goal is to get to an extraction point where they can, get rescued. Now imagine that with the villain side composed of only like 2 heroes, like, the basic 40-player limit right now. And them and the other team are hunting down these heroes. And it's up to, the good side, like the hero team. Like, say the villains, the infantry for the villains are the separatists, for example, First Order. It will be up to the clone troopers to escort the heroes to this extraction point. And, that a wacky game mode like that, where you can still live a fantasy without breaking authenticity, because, no offense, nothing realistic like that would happen. You're not really going to escort a hero out of the battlefield. They're meant to be in the battlefield and all that. But that's where a game mode like where the crosshair would be perfect, as well as the heroes versus villains, the hero deathmatch, what else could we see then? Heck, even maybe even like a I'm trying to remember the mode from the first game, but maybe like even a sabotage-like mode, because that one had loads of heroes across different eras, and that was very wacky. It's like, no one's gonna really take that mode all that serious, so, little modes like that would be great for Crosshair, but for the large-scale ones, like for the Conquest-like modes, the Assault modes, or Walker Assault, whatever, all that stuff, I would recommend leaving it out, because simply put, by having it in, it just creates a lot of negative impacts that, yes, none of them are going to sabotage the game. None of them are going to be like, oh my gosh, the game sucks just for this reason. No, of course not. This game is too good for that. But it does hinder it, and it does annoy people. It's going to annoy people that are hardcore people and authenticity. Because, look, I know people bring up another argument that, well, if you wanted to be completely canonical or whatever, or authentic, then you couldn't even have Darth Maul in it because he didn't find the Clone War, at least not for the Separatists and junk. And look, we're not asking for everything to fit in canon. That's not what we're asking. We're not saying, oh, everything needs to fit its canon conclusion. No, that's stupid. What we are asking is for things to feel authentic, where everything's associated with the place it's designed to be in. Like, Darth Maul, yes. Is it weird across that because it's not canon? Yes, but it could happen. It's a possible thing. Compare that to the Rey on Naboo. No offense, that can't happen. She wasn't even born till like 50 years later. And with that kind of stuff in mind, it leads to the argument that we're just trying to state here. Is Cross Era a bad idea? No, of course not. And in some areas, it's great. Like, even the original Battlefront 2 had crosshair on the Hero Assault mode. And on that particular mode where it was designed for it, it was great. Everyone had fun with it. It was fun because the mode itself, with the whole cross thing, wasn't designed to be taken serious. But when you have these Assault on Theed, that's a serious mode. That's something people are going to imagine being part of the Star Wars universe. And no offense, that's where people are going to try to immerse themselves rather than just screwing around. And that immersion, in my view, is going to be somewhat broken if all people do is like just choose these Rey and Kylo Ren and Han Solo. Like, it just doesn't fit with the Clone Wars. Like, having Rey play against droids, it's just as immersion breaking as seeing something like for example, Qui-Gon facing stormtroopers. Like, let that sink in your mind for a second, please. And with that in mind, I just don't see the game prospering through it in the larger game modes. Like, if you design these modes specifically to have them, like, really design them, like, if they're just goofy and meant to have fun and not, be these authentic, immersive things, then yeah, go for it. But on the modes like Assault on Theed, Walker Assault, whatever the Conquest like mode will be, either Return of Supremacy or whatever, those kind of modes, avoid it, please, because it's like, I don't think I have to make the point enough. It's just, as much as I want to satisfy those people that do want it, you also have to satisfy the people who want to be immersed within the Star Wars experience and be authentic with it. We're not asking for everything to fit canon, we just want things to have their own identity. We don't want, for example, we don't want to see these things that just kind of just feel out of place. We want prequel stuff and prequel stuff. We want original trilogy stuff and original trilogy stuff. We want the sequel era and the sequel era. It's like that. That's where we want that stuff, and that's where it belongs. And again, in the other modes that are focused to be goofy and just mindless fun, then yeah, go for it. But otherwise, please at least try to satisfy a little bit of those hardcore, authentic type people. Because in a way, I'm one of them. I want gameplay to be great, but it's already great. With or without the cross play, the gameplay's still fun. And, without it, it's not gonna kill the game. I mean, things, all it's gonna do is please these people in those authentic moods. And, as for the people that want the crossplay stuff, they get to have it in those modes, like the silly modes, the fun modes, the ones that are meant to be that mindless fun. And, with that, in my opinion, I think this is the best compromise. Because otherwise you're just gonna end up screwing one over and it's not gonna be good for anyone. Now, I know the whole thing people say about dividing the servers or whatever, it's not gonna work. As much as I would want it to work, like, trust me, in a perfect world that would be great, but it's not. And the problem with doing that is that it's going to divide the community again. And, we saw from the first game how much that damaged the community, so we can't really afford that to happen again. Instead, just make it mode-based focused. Some modes will have it, others won't. The ones that are meant to feel more realistic, like this Assault on Theed, the Walker Assaults, the Supremacies, whatever, all those. Keep it out so we can stay authentic and immersed, and at least through that, allow every mode to have every era to have its own identity. But for the wacky modes, for the really intrigue modes that aren't really meant to be taken too serious, then add it. It does no harm on those. And honestly, I think I have met the compromise. But that's about it, guys. I feel like I've really repeated myself too many times on this, but I hope you enjoyed the video. And as a whole, for people who, feel differently about it, that's fine. I hope you can at least see where I'm coming from with my opinion, even if you don't quite agree with it. And if you think crossplay should be in every mode or whatever, post in the comments why. I love these topics and these debates, especially since it's probably going to be the main debate across them all. So I hope you enjoyed, guys, and until then, I will see you in the next video. Peace, love, and may the force be with you. Always.